everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Florette, and yes, today we've got another session of life lessons, and today we are dealing with rejection, handling rejection, receiving rejection. Rejection is a way of life. Like, everyone's gonna get rejected. Even Jesus got rejected. So so yeah, today that's the topic. Okay, so yeah, this is part 2 of life lessons. Hopefully this is going to be an ongoing thing, that I'm going to keep doing life lessons and just talking about things that I've dealt with, I'm dealing with, and all of those things, and just trying to create a community, a voice or something, just a little internet community where we can all come together and talk about the things that we are going through in life, that maybe we feel like for whatever reason we're not able to talk about them with our friends, with our family, or anything like that. So yeah, so let's begin. So, dealing with rejection. Rejection is something that we've all gone through, whether it's been rejected by a friend, being rejected by a boyfriend, a parent, being rejected from a school, whatever it is. Rejection is something you're going to face in life, whatever it is, and wherever you are in life, whatever your financial status is, someone's going to reject you one day. Okay? And just dealing with that. So, my earliest rejection, my earliest experience of rejection is the rejection that I got from my father. My mum and dad are not together, and you know, my father did reject me. He rejected, he didn't believe that I was his child, this, that and the third. Later on he found out that I really was his child. But growing up as a kid, not having my father around and hearing these stories, you know, it was the earliest form of rejection I ever felt, which was like I could never really talk about it. I never was able to talk about it in a way to sort of voice it, because I didn't understand it. As I've gotten older, I've been able to talk about it a bit more, and really come to terms with it and really understanding that rejection. So my mum and dad, you know, they had their own issues. That it's none of my business. I don't concern myself with it. But for a long time, when I was like a teenager going through secondary school, which is like high school, I remember just feeling like, why doesn't my dad look for me? Like, why doesn't he want to be with me, like be my dad? Like, why doesn't he want to like talk to me? And why doesn't he want to like find out how I'm doing? Does he even know I'm alive? Like, why isn't he searching for me? And that used to really bother me. Like, I remember there were times when I was a teenager, like I would sit in my room at night, just think about it, and it really affect me emotionally, and it made me kind of resent men in a way, you know, slightly. And I remember, you know, I thank God, because I went to a really good church that used to deal with certain topics like this, and I remember just making my mind up that, you know what, I don't want to hate men because my father did what he did to me. I don't want to dislike men because of how he's rejected me. But there's still going to be some residue of that rejection that still kind of forms your personality or your characteristics, or just how you interact with other people, especially men. So that was my earliest form of rejection. So as I got older, I got my little notes on the side. As I got older and dating and things like that, I started dating very late. Like, I didn't start dating until maybe I was like 20 years old. Most people start dating when they're like 13, 14. I wasn't doing none of that, because nobody liked me. And I like that, because I really didn't get to experience a lot of things at a very young age. You know, you get to experience certain things at the appropriate age. And I remember just like, if I really liked a guy and he didn't like me, that feeling of rejection, it used to really piss me off. Like, I would become so vindictive, you know, and I think, you know, it comes back from that place whereby my father rejected me and I can never do anything about it. But when a guy rejects me, I know where you live, so I can come get you. You know, I'm gonna find you. It was that vindictive, like, I'm gonna get you back. Oh, you reject me? Like, it was so ridiculous. I used to be so revengeful because of rejection, because I felt like I could take it. I could get you back, because I know where you live, I know your phone number, I know what you look like, I know what school you go to, I know where you work, I know all of those things. Whereby with my father, I didn't have any clue where, I don't even have a picture of him, you know. It's just like, even if I wanted to look for him, I don't know what he looks like, kind of thing. But you know, if with a guy, I could just come to your house and just break your door down kind of thing. Although I never did that, but I used to have these imaginations of like getting revenge on a guy who rejected me. And I could never take rejection with a pinch of salt, because it was something that, you know, it just hurt too much. And rejection does hurt, but when you have that past rejection, and you know, you've been rejected in the past, whether by a parent, especially when it's like a parent, that's when it hurts the most, because your parents are never meant to reject you. You know, if the whole world rejects you, your parents are never ever meant to reject you at all. So to have that, it's like a trauma. So when I get that same feeling from somebody else, it takes me back to that place. You know, it used to take me back to that place of my dad rejecting me. So when a guy would reject me, it would bring back to my place of my dad rejecting me. If a friend didn't want to be my friend anymore, it would bring me back to that place, you know. And even that is something I'm still dealing with right now, with like when it comes to like friendships that come to an end, or friendship that you know, people, sometimes you become friends with people you wasn't even meant to be their friend, and then eventually the friendship, you know, comes to an end, and you feel kind of like rejected a bit, and you just feel like this happened to me last year. I'm gonna real talk about it. I became friends with this girl. So there's this app called Bumble. That's like this, Bumble. There's the dating side and there's like the friendship side. So I was on the friendship side because I was like, I want to meet some new people for like lunch and brunch and da 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 da. So I met her, and then we went out a few times, and like the friendship was cool. Like it was just chilled. Like we'd go out for drinks, go out to dinner, and like little events and this, that, and the third. It was real like calm. I don't know from where. Like I think I tried to text her because I hadn't heard from her in like 4 weeks, and she just ignored me. And then it was just like, okay, so is there a problem? So I must have texted like a few days after that and said, oh, like, I'm not gonna beg you for your friendship. And then she texted me back some BS, and then we went back and forth over some dumb stuff. You know, I guess for me it was one of those things whereby I realized like, you don't want to be my friend, and you don't even let the reasons that she gave were so absolutely ridiculous and so stupid. Like, oh, you're not pro woman and you're not pro black. And it's like, okay. To me, you know, I felt like I shouldn't have even gone back and forth with her, because really and truly, like, why am I giving you energy? Because you're just immature. For someone to reach out to you and be like, hey, are you okay? And then for you not to, you read the message, you could have easily just said, hey, I'm not okay, I'll talk to you later. But you want to go back and forth over some nonsense, things that just don't even matter. Okay. But you know, I remember that feeling of rejection, so I felt like I was gonna, you know, I wanted to cuss her out. So I called her Dusty. I was like, you're Dusty, like, you're an ugly girl, like, you know, and this and that. And really and truly, it took me out of my character, because really and truly, what did I benefit from calling her ugly? Maybe she is ugly, maybe she's not. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I didn't behold beauty, but when I saw her, you see how I still need work on that. Anyways, so it was unnecessary, you know what I mean? So it was just like, you don't want to be my friend from nowhere. Like, we were just cool, we hang out, but obviously she must have been harboring certain like disdain towards me that I didn't really pick up on or whatever. And then that feeling of rejection, it made me feel like, you know what, yeah. And I remember I would just imagine, I was thinking to myself, listen, if I ever bump into you, like, pray that I never bump into you, because I just always think, I will drag you, I will clean the street with your face. Like, I proper felt that way, you know what I mean? Like, I was thinking to myself, I'm waiting to bump into you at the train station, in KFC, like anywhere. I'm gonna drag you, like, I'm gonna knee you in your face, I'm gonna punch you. Like, that was the imagination that I had, because I couldn't accept the fact that this girl just didn't want to be my friend anymore. And then, you know, which is so silly, you know, and I had to really sort of like flare, like think of, like, you know, when you think something negative, you have to really like bring it back in, like, stop taking your mind to that negative place. So you know, and now I've come to terms with it, like, you know, this person doesn't want to be my friend, and it is what it is. And it's all, sometimes people are going to reject you because they just don't want you. Sometimes people are going to reject you, they don't have a legit answer, you know. Like, if you hurt someone's feelings and they decide that they don't want to be your friend anymore, it's almost like a justified rejection. But there are unjustifiable rejections that you will get, where somebody just out of the blue just doesn't want to be your friend anymore. Out of the blue, they just don't like you anymore. Out of the blue, they want to talk crap about you talk crap about you to people. Out of the blue, they don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. it will happen. You will have unjustifiable rejection in your life, and those are even the hardest ones. You have to learn how to take things with a pinch of salt and not let them affect your spirit, your soul, your who you are. They are gonna have like a effect, like a shock effect, but you have to learn how to overcome those. So I've had a few of those rejections, you know, a few of those whereby I'm cool with a friend and it's like, are we not friends anymore? I thought we were friends. Like they're not gonna tell you, hey, I don't like the way you speak to me, or hey, I don't like the way you treat me. They just stop talking to you. They just don't want to be your friend anymore. And you have to just come to terms with that. Because sometimes some people have an expiry date in your life. Some people you encounter, they're only meant to be in your life 6 months, but they've been here 6 years. And especially if you're the kind of person that prays, like I always pray about the people in my life, like, Lord, if anybody's in my life that's their expiry date has gone past you, if they're not meant to be in my life, they're not good for me, they're a bad influence, we're not birds of the same feather, you know, like cut that friendship, cut that relationship, you know, and you just see things just start to fizzle out of nowhere, and you wouldn't even understand. And sometimes it's God doing his thing, let me tell you. So I've had a few of those friendships, some friendships that I've had like over 10 years, and I just, in like a short span of time, the friendship came to an end. And you feel in like the things that you were used to, you know, with that friend, like the talks and the conversations and all of that camaraderie, the sisterhood, brotherhood that you had with that person, it all comes to an end, and it's almost like a death. Except the person is still alive and you see them all the time or occasionally, and it's hard. It's bloody hard. Also, you have to let a rejection not sit in your mind, so that you start to manifest negative things, going back to negative thoughts. So you start to think evil about someone because that person rejected you. You want something bad to happen to them. You want them to break their leg, you want them to fall into a ditch or something like that. When you get thoughts like that, you have to bring it back in, you know what I mean? You have to bring it back in and just wish everybody health and wealth. Okay. So yeah, like figuring out the root of why you respond to rejection the way you respond. You know, like I said, for me, I respond to rejection in that way, like I'm gonna get you back because my father was like that, rejected me, and I could never get him back. So when somebody else rejects me, I feel like I can get you because you live here, you know, I know where you live. So and it created sort of like feelings of revenge and whatnot. Those aren't good feelings, and those aren't good energy. You shouldn't have that energy of revenge. You have to learn how to we're all gonna have those feelings, but don't act on those feelings and don't let them manifest in your spirit. We're all gonna have those feelings sometimes when we want to get someone back, like, oh, I can't wait to get her back, man, for what she did to me. But you have to hone it in and come into terms with the rejection. You have to come to terms with it. If that guy doesn't want to be with you, he doesn't want to be with you. That's it. That's it. If that girl doesn't want to be your friend, she doesn't want to be your friend. Like, there are 7 billion people on this planet. Someone else is going to want to be your friend. Someone else is going to want to be with you. Someone else is going to appreciate your character, your personality. Someone else is going to appreciate your energy, your presence in their life. And you have to understand that there are other people on this planet. There is not just one guy and one girl to be your friend. And, you know, like, there's other people you can be friends with. There's other people out there that you can form a great bond with. You can meet your greatest friend at the age of 40. You know, you think you've met your greatest friend at 20 or at 10. You could meet the most wonderful person who will be the best friend, who will be like a sister or a brother, like a relative. You can meet them at the age of 40 and have the greatest friendship ever, you know. So you can't let it sit in your spirit too much. And another thing that I'm going to finish off with as well is that figure out why some people are rejecting you. Is it because you are the problem? If sometimes people reject you because you're rude, you're inconsiderate, you're a liar, you're a thief, you know, figure out as well, because it could be things that you need to work on yourself that puts people off. So it's not always outside, sometimes it's inside. Sometimes we are causing people to reject us, because there are some people in my life that I rejected because I felt like, I can't be your friend because you're into drugs and I'm just not into that, and I just can't have that energy around me, so I couldn't be their friend. It's just that simple. So you need to find out as well, is there something about you that causes people to not like you? Nobody's perfect, of course not, but you know, if you're a narcissistic person, or if you are somebody who seeks a lot of attention, you get this a lot with women who are like perpetual attention seekers. They're incredibly difficult to be friends with because they want to be Beyonce every day. Okay, even Beyonce gets tired of being Beyonce every day. You need to find that out as well, because that could be something that's causing people to reject you when they're not meant to reject you. But you need to work on yourself. But that all starts with yourself. Okay, find out why you are receiving rejection, why you're responding to rejection the way you are responding. Learn to overcome it and learn to understand that this too shall pass. It is not a permanent thing in your life. Okay, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Life Lessons. Make sure to subscribe and to like the video and share it with all your friends, and come back next week Monday for the next installment of Life Lessons with Florette. Until then, stay beautiful from the inside out. Peace.